Hey guys, and now for the rest of the story. Well, trying to, trying. I think I did. I think I did a good job at showing you the rather kind of complicated, uncomplicated way of describing what goes on in the mind and what the Bible is trying to tell us when it comes to trying to correct it in some way. And, I would think that, blowing Noah's Ark's water, the boat out of the water would be like, wow, that'd be some great news. But, I guess it ain't so great news. But it's the first times I've ever heard it. And I just read it read what I see right off from the Bible. But, in this next part of the stories, there's just a whole lot of numbers, and it becomes kind of crazy. But when they're talking about their lineages here and there, that's always a 1, 2, 3. I was like listening, and I would start trying to add things together, and I was getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that was pretty neat, because that's what they're really, the story of the rainbow comes in through here, and that's 7, that's the story. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, all of these things they use the word indigo and violet. I never use those words, I just did just now. But what I wanted to get to real fast was, I want to go through the male and female. Let me tell you, one of the hardest things to get over with people is that when it comes to family, and when you're talking in the singular, then the family is you, and we're not talking our arms and our legs. They're part of our family. Our ears, they're part of our family. Our thoughts are part of our family. Our feelings, our desires, our emotions, they are part of us. And in this conversation is being used to describe who your mother and father are, who your brother and sister are, and who their wives are, and who their seedlings and children are. But you'll still have to understand that is all you, Make yourself an ark. Bring everybody into it. I'm going to raise you up. And we're going to gather everyone together. I want you to bring everything, all kinds of all of you, everything, even those creepy things that lay deep inside there. So I want it all. I want you to come up here. We're going to bring you up to the top of the mountain. I am going to kill the firstborns of all of these. I'm going to purify you with the truth, with the new wine. You're going to get drunk off of it. We're going to be naked together, and then you're going to die. You're just going to go and you're going to bring it on to your sons, and your sons now are going to procreate, replenish the world, and start things all over again. So this isn't destroying the earth. This is destroying what ails you. And earth is your mind, the playground. This is your playground. Later on, we're going to be building a temple over here. And this side's always going to be war. This will be David. And this side here will be Solomon. But before we get to those guys, we'll have to get through Abraham. And we're going to have to take Abraham out. Because he's the God, he's the father of all three of these religions that are going to blow us off the face of the earth here within probably 100 years or so. If not right around the corner, like right now or sometimes. That is a real good threat because of the dogma. Because, if you believe in the outside of this Bible, it's going to kill. And, even as I try to unveil, there is a smarter and more, there is another way of reading it, which saves, which the Bible tells you in there to go this way. It doesn't mean anything. It falls on deaf ears, So maybe I should think that maybe I got the wrong thing. No, this is the way life is down here. There's very few people that seek the truth. And then when they find the truth, do they really want to go that route? Let's just throw it in with the rest of the garbage that the outside world has in it. But I thought would be really fun was to tell you is that, he was 600 years old when he started this. That means, he's pretty old. But it really is just the 6. He's put in a lot of time. And he's here to, he was preordained to come and lift the burdens of those people that plow the field, who plow the earth. And remember, the earth is cursed. And so he says, this is supposed to bring us ease. So this is the idea of going into rest. This is the 7th chakra is rest. But, it takes on this, it takes on a couple of other things, like he's not resting. It's like while you are resting, while you are down, while you are out, cut off from reality, his forces come in and obliterate all of your enemies, whatever they are. Maybe something, microscopic, whatever they are, but it's something that's within inside of you that rains down on you from heaven. Even the rain for 40 days and 40 nights, this is the fourfold nature of man. 40 days and 40 nights, it's the 40 days before Lent. This is that idea of the beginning part of your works as you get up there with the 6s and stuff like that. But it goes right into 7s right off the bat, we have, this is the introduction to the 4th stage of consciousness, which would be fire. This is where you get your rest. This is where we found Jesus. We found this God over a certain number, but it's been 1, 2, 3. Boom, there it is. But this one here represents the 7 because it shows you climbing. The water level is getting up to 15 cubits at 6. So even the water is doing its job, and then a window opens in heaven and it rains down on him. It's just really, really interesting stuff, but it has nothing to do with real life. God doesn't kill things. And if you read the top of this, God kills everything. God wants you to avenge him, kill for him. He wants you to die for him. So it's set up like a little time bomb. They're going to just kill us all, So whether we believe in an end of times by a literal means, or there's the end of times, we can say, the end of times means any time that you find Cain and kill yourself, then that's the end. Any time when you've had enough of the world, like Noah, when everything is, there's nobody, everybody's thinking with the lower mind, and you find favor with Noah. I'm going to save him. So it shows, hey, look what God can do. And he means business. And with the birth of the troglodyte man that makes giants out of people, they now are like gods, just like they say, and they make war in God's name. And they say all these kinds of things about God. God told me, we're going to have to kill these motherfuckers. I heard from God. God talked to me. Listen, God can't talk to you. It's just not going to happen. if he talks to you, it's going to be in symbolism. Unless you can read that symbolism, you're not going to know what he says. He just can't talk. None of these stories come right out and tell you anything. This is how he talks to you. Oh, Jesus spoke with me and said they were going to, next week all kinds of shit's going to happen. No. Keep it up. Keep it up. You think too much. You've been, whatever goes in comes out. It's what you eat from. Once you go inside, once you bring all this shit that you've been eating and like he says with you, bring it in with you. I want it all, because whenever the smell goes up, at the end when it's over with, Noah takes the clean guys out, the clean food and everything, and he makes a burnt offering to them. And God goes, it smells, it says, oh, I just love that sweet smell, of napalm burning in the morning. That's what it is. Because that's why he had them gather all these people with him into the ark. It was like, believe it or not, it's like a mass suicide, so he's, like Guyana Tragedy and all those guys. Let me tell you, this is the kind of shit, the kind of minds that are going to take us down. And, and I believe it's foretold. I think they did. They probably set the same thing up every time. They probably set up the same old stories. They probably have to reset it, because basically all of these stories stop when we get to, Aquarius. And now we're in Aquarius. There's no real scripture to go from here, because, we're supposed to see, we can commune with Jesus at the end of the age. When we meet a guy with a pitcher of water, we're supposed to enter in his house and go upstairs and commune with the Lord. You know what that means. He just says it's easier that way, but that's the only mention of this. Before this is the precession of the equinox, so before that would have been Pisces, which is the Christianity and the duality that we are talking about here, with the animals that came by twosies, and that really is their male and female business. God himself is a twosie. Remember, God is a we and not a he. All right. Clean and creepy things broken after 7 days. The water remained for 150 days. There's another 6. All these 6s. This is all this works. All was destroyed. All the creepy things, and Noah survives. God remembers Noah. When someone is remembered, that means they're restored. It's like a series of things happens. He lets out a raven. He's made it to the top. He's made it to this works. A window opens, all right, which he makes. That means he, created this 7, opened up this window, and let out a raven. That raven is a negative thought. It's not a negative, but a raven is a symbol of the lower mind. And so it attaches itself to the lower mind. And this is what you've gone up there to clean out, is the effects of the lower mind. So it lets out this raven, and the raven never comes back. That's a good sign. Now we have to go into our own purification, where we now are wanting to take that 1, bring it into the 2, and then combine them to make the 3. All right. So that's the part of this, So he sends out a dove, and the dove comes back and never found no rest. So it didn't make up there. That means that dove is, you sending this messenger. This is that idea. So this goes through another 7, finds another dove, shoots it out the window. This one comes back with an olive branch, and it was plucked out so no one could tell that there was dry land, which means there was no dry land. You have to understand that the leaf was plucked out so that sunshine could come in, so you couldn't be hidden, so everything was open, so you couldn't see dry land. It's very interesting. So he took and brought that inside himself. But anyways, the 3rd dove never returns. 1, 2, 3. Now we're all joined together. The earth dried up, and everyone went forth from the ark. Then he makes this offering for everyone. This is when God smells this thing and enjoys it. He also tells you that from now on there's a covenant that, I'm not going to, every brother, but remember, the brother is the side of you, the side that we kill off, the true you. It's the part that we kill. Remember, it shouldn't be hard for you to understand, but Cain and Abel, Cain is the firstborn, and Abel is his brother. Do you understand? So he kills Abel, but it's really about Cain. And now we run around looking for Cain. We're looking for us. We're looking for ourselves to kill. So this is where you find that there's not ever going to be any salvation. You're never going to get this way without killing your first, without some bloodshed. Tell me that doesn't give them. If you believe in this shit, it's going to hurt someone. It really is. All right? And that's what I'm getting at when I talk about idiots in charge with this book. The shallow minds. The shallow minds, they're just living off the surface of the lower mind, feeding from this cursed land. And all of the children that they can make and come alive would be, the weapons and the destructions and the pollution, the hatred, the divisions. These are all products of this lower mind that have got to be washed out from time to time. You just have to let it build up. And then they affect the world. Once these guys become kings and giants, then it's their way or the highway, guys. But anyways, trying to save a few souls at this point. I think that trying to save our little world. So it all ends up towards the end. Here's old Noah who's gonna in his husbandry, which means that he has to know his wife. So he goes into meditation. He has to go in to know his wife. While he's there, what happens is he plants a vineyard. That's the idea, is how it works. He plants a vineyard first. This is the Kundalini. He travels this place. He drinks of the new wine. He becomes drunk and naked in his tent. And his son comes in, his two sons come in, and they put a coat on his back. They back into him. Their faces were backwards. This is some crazy shit. It's because he's still out. Those are his sons. He says, I know what my sons did. It's like they were embarrassed about their Paul. Look what he's doing. He's naked. But he was in front of the Lord. Now, later on, we're going to find Lot in the same situation where they made it up to the top of a mountain. And his wife turns around and is turned into salt. We think that's a bad thing, but that's a preservative. You're supposed to be being remembered, right? But we remembered. We're all being remembered. It's the way it goes. And it's rebuilt and redone. And the new wine is the new you, and there's nothing between you and God. So you're naked. So and what happens is he's being known by his Lot winds up getting drunk by his daughters and then raped. Again, on the outside of things, that sounds a little tough. But if you knew that it was the joining of the two, the male side and the female together, and that's that matrimony that brings about a child. It's just beautiful. Pretty soon we're going to be, I think our next one is going to be Abraham, and I'd like to take his head off. I really would. And you think that is talking bad, inciting violence of some kind. Yeah, if you take me literally, but I'm going to find out that he's me, you're going to find out that he is you, that we are him, and that we're supposed to do what he does. And I bet we're going to find a whole lot of repeating going on after this. And I'm going to start keeping a little log of what it means to go under. I think there's going to be a lot of meditation. They may just come right out and say meditation, but a lot of times they don't. They tell you to go into a fast, to begin a fast. And these fasts will have numbers after them, and we'll find out what that is. But I know that fasting on the outside is not eating, and it's, you get really emaciated and what have you, but you feel like, you're doing this for God. Maybe it releases some weird endorphins in your brain and you start seeing God, and all kinds of shit. If your body is anything part of seeing these things, it's not God. It's just because it doesn't happen. It's invisible. Whatever about with God is totally invisible. But wonder where I was going with that. Oh, fuck. Well, I hope it wasn't important. Well, listen, I've had enough. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be talking about Abraham probably next, and Sarah, his wife, before they get that breath. That's going to be in here. That's what it is. All these things are the breath of God. So, everything is about have the breath inside them, and the ark has the breath inside the breath, all these people and their things, This was the breath of God, which is the spirit that brings us alive. And it's looking for the truth is all it's looking for food, the truth. Because the world around us is a big lie. And now we understand that. So, let's just keep on going with this. We don't need to be popular. There's only a few people that ever make it on that bridge. And what do they say? Many are called and few are chosen. So, we could be the world's biggest secret. But, I'm still standing by this as being real. I mean, I can't think of it any other way now. And I can't read the book without seeing all this stuff, It's just too much of a formula in there for me to... How can anyone believe that it's the truth? How can anyone say that there's not even a randomness? It's not. It's so easy to follow, so beautiful to follow. And it's being revealed to us piece by piece as we read the Bible. It's going to reveal how to actually understand all of this. I just know it will, So right now we're just being shown how the mind works and how it gets cleaned up and stuff like that. But there are parts of our mind and what part is doing this and that and such, that's got to be in there too. All right? It's a manual about the mind and the body. And we're going to discover it all together. All right? I love you guys and best to you. Thank you.